hope you're all still awake. Late Night Mega here. And last time we started climbing up this fairly challenging tower area with some new enemies. Best way to deal with this enemy is the Kilver weapon. Because Kilver does not care about the enemy's armor. And these enemies... let's try the lightning gun. Lightning gun? Yeah, we'll try lightning. And lightning gun is actually a pretty decent choice against these enemies. Now, what I am kind of failing here against these enemies to do is my red coat ability, using that to phase through enemies' attacks. I think that is how we're intended to avoid some things. That'll become more apparent in a bit. Yep, aha. I kind of phased right past the item there. It's another size node. That's cool. It doesn't really seem to make that bigger. Explosions seem bigger. Oh, that definitely seems bigger. There's Kilver. Yeah, we're just kind of messing around with some of the weapons. And yeah, electricity looks bigger. That I don't know if that looks bigger or not. Okay. For some reason I switched back to the ice shards, which is not doing as well as I would have preferred. Then again, my lightning gun is kind of getting blocked here, but what won't be getting blocked... Oh, yeah, now you're gonna come down... No, you stay up there and just let me hit you through the floor. Darn it! Okay. There's another guy up there. I did not mean to do that. Yo, he's coming after me now. Okay, we'll do it this way. I would prefer if you weren't standing on my face. Okay, we'll get up with the robot drone. What is going on in the background there? That's a really creepy looking background. I'm just noticing that. We have another boss. This looks like the same as the first boss. I like how he's trying to negotiate with him and trying to boss him around. Yes, that's not going to work. And Trace does tell us that we can just kind of pass through here, should we so desire. Myself, I desire to fight. Oh, he's gonna do that. And this is where I'm kind of forgetting about the red coat ability. So I'm like, okay, you know what? We will pass through, but we're probably going to die anyways. Alright, well... Okay, so what actually happens with these guys, and I don't learn about it until later, using the address disruptor on them actually gives you control of them. They will respond to your button inputs. You go left, they go left. You fire, they fire. I did not pick up on that yet. You know, hi there, you're a new enemy, and you are entirely about to kill me right here. Oh, that just slows you down. Do you want to give me health? It does not want to give me health. Oh boy. Let's see if we can just avoid him. Ow. Warp back here. Oh! Yeah, that was sudden. Well, we kind of knew that was going to happen. Well, that gives us another shot at the boss that we skipped. And I think I have a strategy for him this time, because now past gameplay me has remembered the red coat phasing dashing ability. And we're going to use the data bomb, because the explosion might be able to get us some additional damage here. It's an optional boss, so I feel like there should be something you get for fighting him and killing him. So that's what we're gonna do. And now I've got the rhythm kind of going here. See, he's changing color. His attacks are actually getting faster, if you can believe that. My goodness. Ha! Got him! Well, if nothing else, that gives us a full heal before this next section. And I tried... Data Bomb is okay against those guys. But really, I think where we want to be is Killer. Alright, let's head back up and try to climb this tower without dying, which we should be able to accomplish since we have most of our health now. Not really, you can't just launch it. There we go. Okay, you're coming. I know you're coming. You know you're coming. This is me trying to phase through the attack and still taking damage, but again, it might be okay. Well, we now don't have two of those things chasing us. There's a lot of... It looks like there could be something around here, but there's not. Okay, I need... Well, there's definitely got to be something here. A letter. Druska's suspicions were correct. Rebirth logs show that a man named Athetos came here once before, hundreds or possibly thousands of years ago. Okay. I had to think for a minute what my button was to just go back to Trace instead of just teleporting to where he is. Let's see what happens when we distort those guys. Yeah, they slow down. That's kind of groovy, the music that they're making there with their laser fighters. I like it. Hey, look, we died fairly close to a save room again. Phase through here, and there's the boss room. Ah, so it's Athetos. Well, you look like you've seen better days. Oh, from the pathogen, how convenient. Interesting. So he needs protection from the pathogen that he intentionally released. Something about his plan just doesn't seem the most well thought out here. Your captors will have to kill you. Whoa. That's interesting. Doorway to an unrivaled civilization. Okay, now you're speaking in crypticness. Okay. Now we're gonna go on and on about ideals, aren't we? Using the breach to keep out the greater universe. Okay. So then why is it a problem that we have breach here that now we want to take down? And yeah, so people didn't want to share their technology or something with the outside world, so therefore release a pathogen and kill them all. That it could become things of the past. Uh-huh. You didn't really have to choose. You could just let them live their way and let people live their way, you know? Masters of War, huh? Well, with those bodies, that kind of makes sense. So, really, we're stopping the Rusalki from being freed and released into the universe. And now it gives you that hint that, oh hey, it's like building up to give you a choice. Like, you can join Athetos, and the way Athetos started out talking, you know, I better not tell you too much or your captors will kill you. Obviously referring to the Rusalki. Oh gosh. Okay, we have a final boss battle, engage. Although I didn't fully think this would necessarily be the final boss battle, because I guess I kind of spoiled that this is the final boss battle. Because this whole game was kind of building up with a battle between the Rusalki. I mean, we saw hints of that. We saw those hints of the huge bodies. We saw Else Nova. And then we just had that conversation with Athetos that really made it sound like we were going to get a choice between joining Athetos and fighting against the Rusalki, or just fighting against Athetos and maybe having multiple different endings that way. The game itself just kind of built up to that sort of thing, but then doesn't execute it. Okay, we're gonna switch weapons here to Data Bomb. So my first thought is that I need to kill all of these things. And they're giving me help. And then I noticed that I was actually hitting the thing. At some point, I noticed that my bombs are hitting that blue screen at the top. And that is actually our target. At some point, I'll realize that. Address bombs. I don't know if this necessarily makes them easier or not. I don't know. It feels like it does something to them. You're trying out different weapons. I'm like, no, stick with the data bomb here. Because again, and another thing was I was kind of still expecting some other upgrades because there was a number of things that didn't look like we could reach yet. But we're going to fix that starting in the next episode. We do have all of the mobility options that we're going to get in this game. There's just some of these items and upgrades, not really upgrades, some of these items are just going to be really cryptic to get. And so after this episode, I'm going to look up how to get these things. And it's going to be one of my other major complaints about the game. So yeah, I'm really kind of bummed out that we're not going to get to fight against the Resolve. Now once you damage the blue screen enough, it, you know, temporarily shuts down the breach or whatever it is, and that enables Els Nova to come by and attack the breach attractor. While we're still in this capsule thing fighting, a kind of a neat battle, neat concept. But again, the game just built itself up to where, okay, Els Nova and the Rusalki, the three Rusalki, they're not all that innocent. They're not quite the good guys. I don't know that I'd call Athetos a good guy either. It's a really interesting situation. Very unique. Very weird. Like I said, I kind of like it, but I would have... The game just built itself up to giving you a choice there between working with Athetos and fighting against Els Nova and the Rusalki, or fighting against Athetos and joining Els Nova. And then the game's like, nope, there's only one choice, and it's the choice we made for you. And that's kind of a letdown for me. Anyways, I had to explain all of that during this boss fight because, well, number one, it's kind of a repetitive boss fight at this point. Data Bomb is seemingly our best weapon because these drone things are kind of armored, and Data Bomb is going to hit them with the explosion anyways, and it's a great weapon for hitting the computer screen up there. Other than that, this boss battle is kind of on the repetitive side, and it took me a few minutes to figure out. You can, as you saw, get some health from the drones, which is a nice addition. And we destroyed the thing. Yep, it does appear that way. And so, Els Nova, after promising not to kill Athetos, because she just wanted the breach attractor destroyed, and she's going to kill him anyways. Kinda saw that coming. And then here again we have final words from Athetos, kind of hinting that, you know, these Rusalki are enemies that we should be stopping. But did we really? And here you're going to see, yeah, there was a little pause there. I was going to end the video off and then do the next episode, thinking there was going to be more to this game. But then the ending plays in the credits, and that ordeal is only like 5.5 minutes. So I decided to tack it on to this episode. It just felt appropriate. Yeah, I know we go over our normal time, but we usually do that when we have final boss and end credits. And so Els Nova, I guess, is going to put us to sleep. And send us back to Earth. but different. So he wasn't injured. And nobody seemed to think that was strange. Interesting. So Els Nova has quite some powers to make that happen. Changing people's memories. Tried to go back to my former life, but felt wrong. You still can't just be a scientist and do scientisty things. I mean, I guess after everything Trace experienced and that whole world of Sudra, yeah, he wants to get back there. Okay. I guess he kind of wants some closure as to everything Athetos was saying and see if the Rusalki and that were really the bad guys. But that is really all for this game. So this is the credits. So this is time for my final review. I just talked about my main issue with the plot there. Other than that, I feel the plot, given how cryptic it was and how many twists and turns and weirdness we had going on, I feel it was fairly decently explained by the end. It's just that the plot set up that choice, and they didn't give us that choice. And I really feel like that kind of dropped the ball there. Other than that, I did mention there's going to be some real crypticness to some of the items that we have to collect. I'll complain about that in future episodes. I will be showing off, I will be going through and collecting 100% of the items. I'll show you how to get the rest of those. And I'll go over specific details on complaints there. But yeah, those are my two biggest complaints about the game. And for that, I know I said earlier in this game that, you know, if I stopped it here, I'd give this game a 10 out of 10. And that was kind of before we got some of the weirdness of the plot. But I'm still not going to knock that much off. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Fun game. I like some of the unique items and abilities we got. I liked all the different weapons we got, even if we didn't use, even if we didn't heavily use a lot of them. It's still nice to have that sort of thing. It lets people give their own play styles, or even different weapons being good in different situations. I did like that. I would have liked maybe a couple more boss battles, like actual boss battles, because we had a couple boss battles that weren't really boss battles. They were like scripted events and not really a bossy battle. So I guess that could be a third complaint. But yeah, overall, fun experience, fun time. I enjoyed the game. We're gonna spend a few episodes collecting the rest of the items. So we're not putting this game to bed quite yet. And so it does also kind of, like, maybe if there's ever going to be an Axiom Verge 2, see, we only got 78% of the items. Maybe if there's ever going to be an Axiom Verge 2, we'll get, maybe that would be kind of hinting at that, but I don't know if there's any plans for an Axiom Verge 2, so... Alright, I'll see you guys next time, and we will go collecting.